Right, good morning ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Now, there's something that's rarely talked about on this channel, and that's about single fathers that have got a child that decide to get involved with a Thai woman and bring that Thai woman into their life and their child's life. So this story is a little bit more serious. So without further ado, let's jump straight in to today's Thailand story. This story begins with a child who, at the age of 7, tragically lost their mother to cancer. Not long after, the father entered into a relationship with a much younger woman, 26 years old, from the northern region of Thailand. Now, the timing seemed odd, just 1 year after the loss of his partner of over 2 decades. The father was already involved in a serious relationship. This was in the 90s, an era with the convenience of modern communication tools, making it even more peculiar that after only a brief period of exchanging letters and phone calls, the father decided to bring this woman to Europe on a marriage visa. When the new woman arrived, the child from his former wife was uprooted from a stable life with their grandparents and forced to move in with the father and his new wife. The father was determined to create a new, happy family, but the situation quickly became complicated when the woman became pregnant almost immediately. Damn! The child from his former wife, who was only 8 years old at the time, was seen as a threat to the attention the new wife craved from the father. This dynamic was further complicated by the father's unwavering support for his new wife, regardless of her actions. The new wife, it seemed, was not well educated and struggled with basic tasks such as helping the child from his former wife with homework. Despite attempts to integrate her into the new environment, including enrolling her in local language classes, she quickly abandoned these efforts, citing various excuses. Whether the father was content with her decisions or simply resigned to the situation due to the impending birth of their child is unclear, but the marriage went ahead regardless. There were signs that the new wife may have preferred to return to Thailand, but her pregnancy and lack of financial resources trapped her in a situation she might not have fully desired. The timeline was tight. She had only a few months to marry or return to Thailand. Eventually, a small wedding took place, and the child from his former wife was forced to call the new wife Mom, disregarding their own feelings in favour of the desires of the father and his new partner. As the months passed, the relationship between the new wife and the child from his former wife deteriorated. The new wife often fabricated stories about the child's behaviour, which were believed without question by the father. This led to a rift with other family members who could have intervened. The father, caught between his new life and the remnants of his old one, became increasingly isolated from those who might have questioned the situation. Tensions escalated after the birth of the child from his new wife, further dividing the family. The father began to see the baby as their child, while the child from his former wife became a painful reminder of his previous life. The new wife wielded the threat of leaving and taking the baby to Thailand as a form of control, even once demanding a large sum of money in exchange for her departure. This manipulation allowed her to gain full control over the household, and the child from his former wife, now 9 years old, was often left to fend for themselves. The child from his former wife observed the new wife's laziness and deceit, as she often claimed exhaustion from caring for the baby while avoiding her responsibilities. Now the father, misled by lies, placed the child from his former wife in after-school care to minimize their time alone with the new wife. However, a turning point occurred when one of the wife's lies was exposed. Thanks to the child's absence from home, supported by witnesses, yet even then, the father refused to acknowledge the truth, unable to admit that he had been wrong all along.
Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
Now, in a particularly toxic twist, the new wife began to alienate the father from his own extended family. She lied about the child from his former wife's behaviour to the father's parents and other relatives, painting the child as a troublemaker and a burden. This manipulation led to the father's estrangement from his own parents, who, influenced by the lies, began to distance themselves from the child as well. The father's wife even severed ties with her own aunt after she questioned the truthfulness of her niece's stories. In this way, the wife effectively isolated the father from anyone who might challenge her narrative, leaving the child from his former wife increasingly alone. As the father and his new wife continued to argue, especially after the birth of their baby, the situation at home became more and more volatile. The new wife's control over the father grew stronger, and she used their child as a tool to further manipulate him. She often threatened to take the baby back to Thailand, leveraging the father's fear of losing his new family to ensure her dominance in the relationship. In the end, the father became entirely isolated, unable to see the truth that was evident to everyone around him. His blindness to the toxicity of the relationship not only damaged his own life, but also inflicted deep wounds on the child from his former wife, who was left to navigate a hostile and manipulative environment alone. This story is a stark reminder of the dangers of allowing love to cloud judgment and the devastating impact it can have on those caught in the crossfire. Right guys, not a very nice story to share, but I think it is a story that needs to be shared around, because there are a lot of guys that have got children that are single fathers that are getting involved with the wrong type of Thai women. And when I say the wrong type of Thai women, a young woman 26 years old who's willing to come over to his country and act in that fashion. At the end of the day, when you're a single father or even a single mother, you have to put your child first at all times, and don't allow anyone, and I mean anyone, to inflict any harm or make your child feel isolated, especially over some woman. So I think that there will be a lot of problems with single fathers that do get involved with women, not just in Thailand, but from anywhere around the world, where they can't accept their child. And if they can't accept them, then hit the road, Jack. Now, if you're a single father and you've got involved with a Thai woman, then we'd love to hear from you, either down in the comments or share your story on the channel, as I do think that this is an issue. And I do believe that there will be a lot of problems when single fathers do get involved with Thai women. Some good, some bad. Yeah, I mean, it's not always going to be a bad Thai woman. You know, you can find a good woman that's great with your kids and stuff like that. I know it works. I've met foreigners, even there's a guy here in Buriram who's got involved with a Thai woman and she's great with his child. Really, really good. But I can imagine that there are a lot of women out there that won't accept someone else's child, especially when they're giving birth to their new child with that man. So let us know what you think down in the comments below, and if you've got experience in this kind of situation, then we would love to hear from you. So if you can take the time out to start typing away, please share your story on the channel and email thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Take it easy and ciao for now. Bye bye.